All right, we have a clip of everyone's favorite social Darwinist back again. Not Donald Trump. We are talking about apocalypse. Let's take a look.
Let's go to war.
Forget everything you think you know. You're not students anymore. You're X-Men.
All right, overall, super badass trailer, right? But there's a few little pieces of information that you can probably pick out here and there. One you can pick out by looking at the fashion. You may notice that Charles is wearing a purple V-neck for most of the trailer. I think every single shot. I'd have to review that to be sure, but I think that's true. One, sticking with the 80s theme pretty well, along with Quicksilver's mom's scrunchie. Two, I think this indicates that all of his scenes, or at least the ones they're showing us or giving us hints about, are early on in the movie, and that he is somehow knocked out of commission maybe midway toward the end, which would make sense when we see him getting grabbed by Apocalypse and slammed against a pillar. The pillar slam is new. So that would mean, well, that makes sense as to why Mystique is taking control. She is shown very much in a leadership role, in charge of the mutants, and along with fashion, we have hints to her old costume with the blue and white. However, sadly, there is no skull belt. You may also want to note that Angel's wings in the wide shot with the four horsemen, sorry, I didn't mean to sound so derisive, are metal. This scene might be toward the end of the film instead of his floofy feathers as well. And we can see that he can use his wings in an offensive way. We have more shots of the younger mutants like Jean Grey, Scott Summers, Alex Summers. We see what looks like Angel and Nightcrawler are in some kind of cage match for their fight. We've seen that fight before, but I'm not sure why they're in a cage match. I don't know if there's any precedent for that in the comics. If you can think of one, I would like to hear about it. We see a shot of what looks like Psylocke and Angel flying into a destroyed Blackbird, and then later we see a ship that is not the Blackbird. So that, I think that shows another progression of time right there. There's a lot of old footage as well that I'm sure you remember of this car getting sliced. Jean Grey screams while things get turned into sand. There's a scene where it looks like Charles is in some amount of distress. So Alex Summers decides to let loose his powers, which seems like a terrible idea where they are considering, but maybe it's the only recourse they have at the moment. And also another indication that something happens to Charles and Mystique has to take over once again. I was missing Jubilee. I was hoping she would be in this trailer, but perhaps she's too ridiculous of a character to be shown. At the moment we're showing the high stakes, again, as I said before, the social Darwinism, the destruction. There's repeated destruction of the school in shots. One of my favorite parts was Quicksilver. It reminded me how much I enjoyed him in the last movie, how much fun he was. He does seem to be in some amount of distress. With that scene with his mother where he says, "You wanted me to get out of the house more," it makes me a little worried about his future. Maybe we'll have two dead Quicksilvers in canon, movie canon that is. I hope not though, because he's the better one. Audience, what did you think of the newest X-Men Apocalypse trailer? There's a lot of new footage in there, and I'm sure I've missed parts of it, though I also picked up on other smaller parts that stick out to me. Fashion. Let us know below in the comments, and won't you please help NerdAlert out for free by liking and subscribing for more.